If you live in Alamo and Danville, you are definitely living on shaky ground as another earthquake hits this area. We'll tell you the magnitude and get reaction coming up in a live report.
Don't worry if you see people swinging up and down the Golden Gate Bridge. We'll explain why coming up.
And police are looking for a gunman after a man was found shot to death in the East Bay. The latest on the story.
Now, from the Bay Area's local news station, you're watching the KRON 4 Morning News at 7.
Good morning, I'm Daria Folsom.
And I'm James Fletcher. Thank you for joining us on this early Monday morning. It is 7 a.m. The commute, we're about midway through the window. How are we looking?
It's improving. My hotspot in Concord cleared, but 680 is a mess out of the East Bay right now. The live shots have been looking pretty nice out there.
Yeah, we've got some clouds out there, but no rain and a little cool for some parts of the Bay, and it'll stay cool. But yes, we'll be warming things up here over the next several days. Quick check of our East Bay Berkeley camera, and we have cloudy conditions this morning. So it's going to be a cool day, and you definitely want to grab a jacket. Make sure the kids grab a jacket as they're heading out the door this morning to head into school. We did see some patchy fog for parts of Napa this morning, but otherwise we're looking at partly cloudy skies, highs in the mid and upper 60s inland to 60s for the Bay and mid 50s for the coast. Right now temperatures are in the lower 50s here in San Francisco and in Oakland, 49 in San Jose and 44 in Santa Rosa. Hey moms, you're going to want to plan ahead for a nice warm-up headed this way. More details on your forecast coming up a little bit later. Here's Robin with a look at the roads now.
All right, thank you. Let's head over to the Bay Bridge and check in on 80. It's our busiest bridge during the morning commute. And as you can see, there is a long line here coming out of Oakland to San Francisco. It's been quiet, and that's what we like. We know it's going to be slow, right? But we just don't want any extra issues or problems. So you will be backed up into the maze, or I'll take that back, to the bottom of the maze. There's a big difference between just the bottom of the maze and through the maze. So when I say just the bottom of the maze, it's right where 580 and the East Shore, those connectors merge together as you head into San Francisco. It's not backed up onto those freeways. So it is looking good here. 22 minutes for the trip in. And we had a hot spot in Concord. It's out of the way, thank goodness. Southbound 680 at Concord Avenue. We had the 3 left lanes closed. You're mostly impacted if you're crossing the Benicia Bridge coming out of Martinez. You see that backup spilling just about to the toll plaza of the bridge, but at least it's out of the way. We'll check that drive and check Highway 4 and more slowdowns in just a bit. James, Daria.
Thank you very much, Robin. At 7:01, the breaking news story this morning, we had a little earthquake shake the ground, a 3.3 beneath the ground of Alamo in the East Bay.
Yeah, if you blink, you might miss it.
Yeah.
Or you might feel it if you were sleeping. It's a lot easier to feel the quakes and it coming so early. Plus, after a swarm of quakes hit over the weekend in Danville, you might be extra sensitive.
Everybody's on heightened alert. Yeah, Will Tran out there this morning talking to folks. Hey, Will.
There are a lot of people, just like anybody else. Some felt it, some didn't, but those who did feel it, they say, oh my goodness, is this the big one? Let me pull up a map for you really quickly. We have a gentleman next to me. He'll tell you all about it, but this happened at around 4:55 in the morning near downtown Alamo. And it wasn't really big, but it was enough to jolt those who were up at the time, so we'll talk to him. Let me give you another map in Danville. So this particular area within a few miles of each other in Danville, we saw about 7 of them throughout the day yesterday as well. The big question is this a precursor for the big one? Well, we don't know, but we do know they live in earthquake country. So now, as promised, here's Bill. You were up this morning. What were you doing when you felt it, sir?
Well, I got up early. I was working at the kitchen table, and I heard it, and then I felt a big jolt, and I was wondering, uh-oh, how big is it? And then it was gone. So it was just a little shock.
Did it move like a wave, or was it back and forth?
Just a big punch. Just a loud crunching noise with a punch, a little bit shaking of the house, and then it was gone.
You have a dog, but your dog didn't feel it, so that's a myth. Let's put this myth to rest, people.
My dog was annoyed by it. He looked at me like, what was that? And then went right back to sleep.
Nothing fell, though?
No.
Okay, good. Thank you so much, because I was going to do the hashtag Alamo Strong, but we don't need to do that. So there's no rebuilding that needs to be done, but we'll just have to monitor the situation. Hopefully this is the end of it. I hate earthquakes. I haven't felt a big one. I wasn't here for '89. I just hope we don't have one. Not in my lifetime. After I'm gone, by all means, but not now. So we'll get more reaction from people like Bill. Back to you.
Thank you, Will.
All right, good enough. And we have an entire section on our website, by the way, devoted to earthquakes. And that's where you can find tips on how to prepare for an earthquake, what to do if one strikes your area, and tips on what to include in your earthquake kit, which everybody should have packed by now.
7:04, and police are investigating a fatal shooting that happened in Albany. By the time the police got there, it was too late. They found a man who was hunched over a park bench yesterday on Masonic Avenue near Ohlone Greenway, and they took him to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. Police are still looking for the shooter. We spoke to neighbors.
It's very shocking, kind of makes me uncomfortable, kind of frightened, should be a little bit more careful about where I'm going. But, you know, it doesn't happen often, so it's very unsettling to see that happen.
The Ohlone Greenway is back open this morning after that investigation.
Demolition resumes today in Concord, nearly a week after a fire burned through an under-construction apartment complex. On Friday, we had more than 250 people able to get back into their homes for the first time since they were evacuated. They live in a complex right next to the one that burned, and one man that we spoke with says his apartment thankfully wasn't damaged, but he can still smell smoke. Investigators are still trying to figure out what exactly sparked last Tuesday's fire. A boater is missing this morning after he went overboard. It happened near the Antioch Bridge on Saturday. Just before 8:30, a distress call came out to deputies after two men were seen in the water. The men were trying to set an anchor so they could fish, and they were hit by a large wake from a passing boat. That tipped them. They both went overboard. Neither man had a life jacket on, we're told. One was picked up by a passing boater, as you can see. The other, though, is still missing this morning.
Time now 7:05, and 4 people were rescued from the water in Pacifica after their boat was pushed onto the beach. They were stranded there. They were on their way to San Diego over the weekend when the boat started having some engine problems. Strong currents ended up pushing the sailboat onto Lindamar Beach. All 4 passengers were rescued, including a woman who is 7 months pregnant.
Oh, the kid's lucky to be alive. Yeah. Too much could have gone wrong.
And we've been running around in wet, sandy clothes all night, and that's highly uncomfortable when it's windy.
Oh my gosh. I don't know if I'd want to go sailing 7 months pregnant.
Yeah.
Or be on a plane like that lady. Remember the one who had to give birth herself? Yeah.
Jiminy Christmas. Wow.
So this boat captain told us that she plans to have the boat fixed, and they'll continue their journey. I don't know, with or without the pregnant woman. No arrests have been made so far, as Daly City police are investigating a shooting that happened at a bowling alley Saturday night at the Classic Bowling Center on King Drive. And here's cell phone video from when the shooting happened. The man who was shot is in critical condition.
9 people in Oakland have lost their home after an apartment fire in Oakland. That fire happened on 39th Avenue yesterday afternoon. When firefighters got there, they saw flames coming from the right side of the building. Investigators say the cause of the fire may have been electrical, but they're still looking into that. Also in Oakland, take a look at this. Pictures from police towing away cars. This happened after officers got calls about a sideshow, several of them that happened throughout the city on Sunday. Police haven't said if anyone was arrested, but they did nab some cars. A crash along 680 in Pleasanton kills 1 person. Look at the damage to the car. It happened yesterday morning on the Stone Ridge Drive off-ramp off of 680. Police say the car went down an embankment, flipped over, landed on its roof, and sad to say the driver died in that accident.
Time now is 7:07, and the June election is right around the corner. And this morning we're hearing from the men who want to lead our state.
First, the illegal sanctuary state. We will get voter ID in California.
I want to work with you to grow more middle-class jobs, to educate more of our kids.
I want to turn this state around because this state absolutely needs a turnaround.
I have the honesty, the integrity, the record of fiscal responsibility and responsible leadership to move California.
The 4 candidates took part in a gubernatorial debate last night in Fresno that we aired live right here on KRON 4. Democrats Antonio Villaraigosa and John Chang and Republicans Travis Allen and John Cox talked about health care, public safety, immigration, and border security. Lieutenant Governor Gavin Newsom did not participate in that debate. The California primary is June 5th. The last day for you to register to vote is May 21st. And if you missed the debate and you want to see it, we've still got it up on KRON4.com.
Time now 7:08. We'll take a quick break, but still ahead here on the KRON 4 Morning News. Look at this. A homemade submarine caused quite a scare for firefighters in the East Bay. We'll explain what happened. Plus, seeking asylum, migrants who traveled to the California border now await the U.S. and whether or not they'll grant them asylum. And after the break, just into the newsroom, police released new surveillance video in their search for a gas station robber. We'll tell you what we're seeing in these latest images.
And it's going to be cool and breezy for today. We're also tracking a delay at a Bay Area airport. More details on that coming up after the break.
And I'm tracking your morning commute. It is packed at the Bay Bridge Toll Plaza. You'll save a little bit of time if you're fast tracking or carpooling. Those lanes moving a little bit better, but overall it's backed up to the bottom of the maze. A complete traffic check after the break.